Good morning, this is Jack from Charting Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Friday, the 12th of June. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to trade charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, now, 2 days ago, of course, I published a post talking about the possibility of these head and shoulder patterns that have broken down on, NQ and YM. Were going to fail and reject back up into the highs. Now, since then, obviously, I was talking about this run of historical leans that had been playing out for the last couple of weeks, and that's now the last 2 days have obviously followed those leans as well. We were down on Wednesday, we were up on Thursday. For the next week, we are leaning bullish today, leaning bullish on Monday. We've got 3 neutral days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and next Friday, of course, is Juneteenth holiday. We're in the inflection point now, but the main resistance up here is, we've got some resistance here, monthly pivot, weekly pivot, etc. But the main resistance is the high of the right shoulders. Once ES rallies over that, then the head and shoulders has failed, and we've got a target back up at the high, which would usually be made. Does it have to be made immediately? No. What we could do is something like A, B, C flag, etc. But at that stage, when we go down, we wouldn't be going down towards the head and shoulder target because the head and shoulder would have failed. Would I be expecting that? No. More normally, I'd be looking for it to go higher fairly directly. So we shall see, but we're at the point where if we go up much higher today than the overnight high, then these head and shoulders are likely to fail. All right, so where have we got that failure level on ES? I've got that here in about the 7,500 area. On NQ, I've got this here in about where would this be? Bear with me a moment. All right, I've got that in the 29,855 area. RTY, we didn't have a head and shoulders, and this is returning back up into the high retest as expected. YM, this is what the head and shoulders here has already felt. Now, I've got to say, though, I'm mainly looking at the head and shoulder patterns on the RTH charts. But here, we've got the right shoulder high here at about 51,326, and that has already failed. So the one here has failed, but I'm waiting for the one in RTH to fail as well. We've pulled back a bit off the overnight highs, so that probably won't happen at the open. In terms of DAX, we've got, I'm not particularly clear what the overall pattern is here, but I'm looking at resistance at the daily middle band today. I'll come to that on the RTH charts. On ESTX, we've already gone back and retested the high, and we've actually got a little possible weak 60-minute sell signal break. On Nikkei, we are not close to the right shoulder high, but we've got a large head and shoulders on there. We made the initial head and shoulder target. I think we made that yesterday. So actually, target reached. All right. But what I'm looking at here is the head and shoulders, which is broken down with the target in the 58,000 area. In the event that we get back over the right shoulder high, and that is at about 66,070, then I'd be looking for a high retest on that as well. So we will see how that goes today, but at the moment we're on the exact track that I was talking about on Wednesday, and if everything continues as expected, as I was expecting, then we'll go back up and do high retests. Could we see a fail here? Yes. Could this be a bear flag from the low? Just about, but we've also got a little double bottom here, but I've not marked that in because one, that's a little small, and two, the main thing I'm really looking at here is the failure of the head and shoulders. But this is a little double bottom that's broken up with the target at about the 75.62 area, and that again is supporting the bull side. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. Okay, looking at SPX, the resistance here that I'm looking at, important resistance obviously at the daily middle band at 74.69. We didn't get any positive divergence here, but we did get the daily RSI 5 buy signal on the Qs that I was looking for, and that has delivered. So we've got that daily RSI 5 buy signal. Bigger picture, we've got quite a lot of RSI 14 sell signals as well. But this is, but as I was mentioning the other day, these aren't contradictory. We can go and make one target and then go and make the other. In terms of the head and shoulders, I've got the right shoulder high on SPX at 748.315. Break over that, the head and shoulders has failed, and we should see a retest of the all-time high. We've not got any divergence on the early chart. Sorry, on the 15-minute chart, we do have a 60-minute buy signal. Again, I was mentioning this the other day. So we've got a 60-minute buy signal, RSI 14 buy signal fixed, and I like that. Overall, I've got a pretty strong lean towards seeing retests of the high from here, as I was explaining on Wednesday. On Qs, on the hourly chart, we've again got a 60-minute RSI 14 buy signal fixed. I've got important resistance at the daily middle band at 721.42, which maybe will be tested today. And on the 15-minute chart, the right shoulder high is at 725.66, and a break over that opens up the retest of the all-time high, which, again, I'm leaning towards seeing. In terms of Dire, went back, broke down slightly below the daily middle band, and then has rejected back over it yesterday. Chances are that will hold. The weak RSI 5 sell signal has made target now. In terms of the hourly chart, the RSI 14 sell signal on the hourly chart made target too, so those ones are cleared off. And we've got a head and shoulders here, and I've got the right shoulder high here in about the 513.8 area. So break over that, again, setting up a retest of the all-time high. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture chart on IWM. IWM, we've already broken back over the daily middle band. We're getting pretty close to the retest of the all-time high already. We didn't have a pattern taking us lower here, apart from this initial pattern here. We never formed a larger pattern, so there's no particular level to break, but we're already getting back to a retest of the all-time high. I'm expecting to see that and higher. We shall see how that goes. In terms of DAX, I'm looking for a rally here, and we're already seeing that somewhat on the overnight. Daily middle band resistance is at 2476. 2474, I think. Bear with me a moment. Yeah, 2474.6. It's so on the 24,746. All right. And looking at Nikkei, we've got the daily middle band at 64,387. We were testing that at the highs yesterday. I'm expecting that to break back up. I haven't marked in the head and shoulders here, but you can see that on the hourly chart that I was showing you. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at the DX chart. Now, DX, obviously, we had a reaction in the when we have trouble, DX has been going up. When we have less trouble, then DX has been going down. And DX went down. We've got a double top here, which is broken down with a target in the 98.72 to 98.86 area. That could make target. I'm a little skeptical. I'm not seeing a lot of support for it elsewhere. This cut on Euro USD, this kind of looks like a bear flag forming. On GBP USD, this kind of looks like a bear flag forming. USD JPY, pretty close to, but hasn't made the retest of this high here at 160.75 area. USD CAD, we saw a break over the rising megaphone resistance trend line. This could be a bearish overthrow, or that could just be the start of it breaking up, which would be a welcome thing to happen. It wasn't really fitting in with the rest. Australian dollar, we're seeing a bit of a rally after the head and shoulders broke down, and NZ, we're seeing a bit of a rally after the double bottom broke down. Double top broke down. But we do have a little double bottom here, which could break up. So we could see a significant leg down on DX here short term. I'm slightly skeptical, and the support for it elsewhere is mixed. Right, CB, we had a double top, it broke down, it's fell. So hang on, wait a second, it fell overnight, so that is failed. 12. All right, so no longer looking for those downside targets. I would note that we've got now a potential larger double top, and overall I'm still leaning towards the short side. But bear with me a moment. Sorry, I'm just marking up the lines. Do we have a 60-minute sell signal fixed? Yeah, we do. I'm not going to mark that in quite yet, but I mean, that I am wondering about, because we've as often is the case when you have a head and shoulders or a double bottom or a double top that fails, then you get an immediate successor pattern, which is there. We've now got a nicer double top, which may play out, and we've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed on ZN. ZN, we've the head and shoulder has failed, and I'm looking for a retest of this high here in the 110.02 area. So we haven't made that yet. So that is unfinished business above. Looking at oil. Brent crude, we have gone lower, and we killed off on my very nice looking double bottom setup, which is really annoying. But we haven't got any positive divergence here. But if we see a retest of the overnight lows, we could set that up. Would we usually set that up at the low? No, but it's always nice to see as likely confirmation that this will go higher. Obviously, this has been buffeted by the news. Has the overall picture changed? No. In terms of the agreement, it does appear the Iranians, there is actually an agreement which is being worked on, and they were actually fairly close to an agreement when the US started bombing a couple of days ago, and that they're still presumably pretty close to an agreement because Turkey and Qatar have confirmed that one is close. Has an agreement been made? The Iranians are saying absolutely not, and has given that the only person we've got saying that an agreement has been made is Trump. Obviously, that is a low quality source, and that doesn't mean that an agreement isn't close, though. So the memorandum of understanding basically is just an invitation to start negotiations. Does it seem likely that Iran is going to surrender control of the Strait of Hormuz? No. Are they handing over their nuclear material immediately? No. Would they be prepared to talk about the nuclear material? I think it's open to question, but maybe yes. We will see. Has the overall picture in terms of oil and the shortage and the stocks drying up over and the prospects of a supply squeeze in summer, has that changed? No. Would it change if the Strait of Hormuz opened tomorrow? Honestly, no. I think the damage is likely already done. So we're likely to see an oil squeeze over the summer. And even if the Strait of Hormuz goes back to full capacity tomorrow, we'd still probably be going to have an oil squeeze over the summer because world stocks have been so low, have gone so low, and it's been 3.5 months that the Strait of Hormuz has been closed with a minimum 6 million barrels a day, not being below what world demand is. Of oil being supplied worldwide. So that's an awful lot. Regardless of what Trump says about, the Strait of Hormuz has actually been open for months and they've had hundreds of millions of barrels. One, I don't believe it. Two, a couple of 100 million barrels actually wouldn't make a huge difference, although it would make some. So I'm still leaning bullish on oil. This is just an annoying Trump news disturbance. So when that dies down, I'm thinking there will be quite a lot of pressure to the upside. In the short term, I'm going to be looking at patterns here. We have gone below the lows here. We haven't gone a lot below the lows. I'm not expecting to see a collapse down to pre-war levels. I think that's extremely unlikely. It's possible. Anything is possible, but I think it's very unlikely. So I'll be looking at the pattern setups here and carefully over the weekend, and I'll have more by Monday, or obviously the bigger picture on Sunday. In terms of HO, HO has gone a bit lower as well. The inverted head and shoulders there failed eventually. Is this a potential larger double bottom? No. Is it a potential double bottom still on CL? Yes. But not as high quality as it was yesterday morning, and the same applies to Brent crude as well. Looking at RBOB, this still looks like a potential bottoming action, and we're finding some pretty good support down here at 2.95. That hasn't broken in the way that the others have. NG, I was looking for a test of this trend line. We've seen it. We've got a weak 60-minute buy signal fixed, so we're seeing a bit of a rally at the moment. On the bigger picture, is this a bear flag? Yes. So my lean is that we're likely, having broken slightly below the rising support now, that we will follow through on that and probably come back and retest this low here just under 2.9. All right, looking at GC. GC, I was looking for a rally. We have seen a rally. The buy signal on GC has made target. The buy signal on SI has made target. Has SI made the target I was looking for? I'm not sure it has on spot, but it certainly has here now. I was looking for a retest of this low. We have made it. This is the move I was thinking might need to be made before we saw a big move up on GC and SI, and we've now made it. So this is what I was thinking. I think this is second low of a double bottom on GC. I think this is second low of a double bottom on SI, and I'm now pretty bullish on both. So we shall see. All right, palladium, possible bottoming action. Platinum, 60-minute buy signal fixed, possible bottoming action. I'm looking for a reversal back up in the not too distant future. HG, we've got a nice, lovely looking nested double top, which I'm expecting to play out over the summer. In the short term, could go a bit higher, and we've got a potential little double bottom here that could take us back up into a high retest. Looking at KC. KC, nice looking little double bottom here that's broken up with a target in about the 260 area, I think, or 259. Making good progress towards that. SB, possible bottoming action, but I'm still leaning towards seeing a retest of this low here in the 1338 area. Looking at CC, I'm still looking for a test of the head and shoulder target in the 3519 area. No current divergence, but obviously it's been very slow getting there. This might, of course, just be a bull flag forming, but even then, I'd be leaning towards that target being made. In terms of lumber, we've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed, and we are rolling over short term. CT, well, the weak 60-minute buy signal has reached a possible near miss target, possible bottoming action. Wheat, possible bottoming action. Corn, possible bottoming action. Soy, possible bottoming action. I think all of these are looking pretty oversold and should be due at least a rally. On ZL, still forming a potential head and shoulders here. Watching to see how that develops. Not been doing a lot the last couple of days, really. Looking at live cattle, we had a head and shoulders here. It broke down. It failed. I'm looking for a retest of this high here in about the 25150 area. On lean hogs, there's no real sign of a low here, and I'm thinking we may well continue lower. 60-minute buy signal fixed, but the main distinguishing feature of this is it hasn't quite failed, even though we've gone significantly lower. So I'm not really regarding that as an active signal. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions. All right, no questions, so I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you guys again on Monday. All right, cheers.